Previously.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3. It's like Christmas 3D Thatchers, three-way comparison video. Let's go. Alright, in today's video, this is the 2021 three-way dethatcher showdown comparison video. The Greenworks that I've done twice on and it did not perform well and finished dead last is out. We're now moved the Worx to the challenger spot to go up against the Sun Joe, but the Sun Joe is going to be different this year because the Sun Joe is the 805E model from earlier this year's comparison between the 801E and the 805E.
He is so slimmed down. He looks like a middleweight.
We brought in the newcomer, the Lawnmaster. This one was requested by several of the people and several of the viewers out there, and the reason being is because this is one of the units that also has a Scarifier unit as well as dethatching. So we're going to do dethatching between all three. Then we're going to put the Sun Joe and the Lawnmaster head to head on the scarifying option and see which one wins. Now I'm going to use a little Hollywood magic. These are all in the box. Wow, the magic of Hollywood. That's not reality, but this is. I wished I could get it put together that fast. got these assembled, let's go into each one and find out what the specs are, how to adjust the height, and some of the different options that come with each of these dethatchers and these two scarifiers. First up, the Worx Dethatcher. This dethatcher is 14 inches wide and comes with a 12 amp electric motor. Each of them have the basic same handles. This is your activation, but each one has a safety release that has to be depressed to allow the motor to work. Now, to adjust the height, it's really easy. One thing that Worx has done that I do not believe was done last year on this model was that they've now put a little label here showing which setting. Right now it's currently on the 1 setting. That is a 3 millimeter high setting. So 1 is the highest up setting. 2 is a negative 3 millimeters. And 3 is a negative 9 millimeters. So 3 is the lowest setting. And you simply do this by pulling out, rotating the dial down, and it locks into place. That's the negative 3. To go to the lowest setting, 3 or negative 9, again, pull it out, and you have to do it to both sides.
Both sides?
Next up is the SunJoe AJ805E Scarifier Dethatcher. Right on the very front of the label, it states that this unit has 2 interchangeable cylinders. We're going to, right now it currently has the Scarifier cylinder in it. We're going to show you how to swap that out for the dethatcher, as the dethatcher will be used in this 3-way comparison. It is a 15 inch, so 1 inch larger than the Worx, and has a 13 amp electrical motor. The height adjustment is simply done on this unit by releasing and loosening the handles, and these teeth that hold it into place can then be moved and adjusted as long as both sides are loosened. And it has 3 settings. It's got the higher, the medium, and the low setting. Low being for someone who's shorter. Now, one of the things I really like about this machine is they've really done a great job of updating the handle to be able to adjust the height. This one comes with 5 total settings. To release it, you just pull it out of the nooks that are set. This one is the highest setting, which is a positive 10 millimeter. You'd want to use that on something where your grass is maybe a little bit taller and you're not wanting to cut it very short, but I do recommend that you always cut your grass short. The next setting is 5 millimeters, 0, which can be used for transport, or any of the higher ones can be used for transport. The next setting is a negative 5 millimeter, and the lowest setting is a negative 10. This machine is a 1-step process. You do not have to do both sides. Moving on to the handle, each of these come with a cord holder that you can wrap your cord through so that it doesn't get caught up and it's just draping everywhere. But much like the Worx, this release handle comes down, but to actually engage it, you have to press the safety button. And once that's pushed and this bar is pulled back, the motor will engage. Now, they've updated this dethatching cylinder. The old cylinder on the 801E looks like this. So this is the upgrade. This one seems to be just a little bit heavier, have a little bit more weight to it, but I still use that machine. It's a great machine. But as you can see, because of the width increase, it allows for another set of tines on the end versus the set of tines that are on the 801E's cylinder. Now, let's look at getting this pulled out and replaced. Now, as you can see, the Scarifier tines are in this machine. Currently, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tines on this unit. Now, one difference from the SunJoe's older brother, the 801E to the 805E, is that the 801E had hexagonal bolts to be able to release this. It was a 10 millimeter hexagonal bolt, but now they are swapped it out with these Allen wrench style bolts. I'm not a big fan of Allen wrench. It's not that hard to pull them out, but I'd much rather just be able to use a ratchet set and be able to pull it out. So let's show you how easy it is to pull this out. Last up, and certainly not least, is the Lawnmaster 14-inch dethatcher and Scarifier. This is the scarifying unit that's in here. We're going to remove it here in a moment and replace it with the Lawnmaster tined dethatching cylinders. This unit is 14 inches and has a 12.5 amp electrical motor. To operate it, you simply do like the other units, press the safety release and then pull back on the handle, and that will activate the unit. Now, to adjust the height on the Lawnmaster, this one's a little unique. In the instructions, it states that there are 19 height settings, and the reason that this is achieved is with these multiple tabs or slots that the tab on the handle can then move into and allow it to lower. This being the lowest setting. Now, according to the instructions, the lowest setting is a -10 millimeter for any of the cylinders that are put in. I would have to say that as far as the height adjustment, I like it because it gives you way more variety. But as far as the ease, it's about the same as the SunJoe. Now to replace and swap out this Scarifier, which this Scarifier blade looks pretty robust. I mean, it's much thicker than the other ones, and it also has these 3 little serration on each one. It currently has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versus the 13 on the SunJoe. When you're scarifying, more can be better, but you know, I haven't used this unit yet, so that'll still be left up to the tail of the tape. Now to remove these, this mounting bolt, which to be honest, I had to loosen it with a pair of channel locks to get it to go, but it was torqued in there pretty decent. So to release it, it's not hard, but you might need to be able to give it a little bit of crank on it. You just simply remove the mounting bolt. Now to release this and remove it, you lift it out and pull on it so that it releases from the hexagonal post that's in there. Now I will say that upon first looking at this unit, this dethatching tine looks like it might not be built that well. It's kind of smaller compared to the others, but it does have some weight to it. we're gonna give it a shot, see how she rolls. To install it, line up the post. This inserts right into these grooves where this washer and the cylinder will connect. Now that we've got it installed, this flat washer sits on the outside of the mounting bracket. You simply re-thread the mounting bolt in, and there you go. Okay, now that we've gone through and looked at the differences between each of these machines, let's talk about something that anybody who's ever used one of these machines will tell you straight out. Each one of them comes with a bag, much like this. This is the Worx bag. They're tiny, they hold nothing. The only reason you would ever be able to use this and use it to where it's functional would be if you're doing a light dethatching, and I mean a light dethatching, like every 3 to 4 weeks. It might do you some good. They're not very big because they can't handle a lot of debris, because these are push units. They're not motorized as far as the action to be able to drive it. But they're just a waste of time, waste of money. Don't even use them. Before we get started, I want to touch on what kind of electrical cord you should use, and there is a specific type. If you're going over 100 feet from where the cord is plugged in to the power source, you need to use a 12 gauge electrical cord. Now, higher gauge, and when I say higher gauge, the higher the number, the smaller the cord or the smaller the gauge. The lower the number, so like a 10 gauge would be thicker than this one, the thicker the power cord. Now, of course, 12 is the rating that they use for anything 100 foot or more. I just would say get the 12 gauge, then you don't have to worry about which one to use. 12 gauge is about as thick as my pinky. You'll be able to ask any of your local hardware stores or any of your big box hardware stores like Lowe's or Home Depot which one to use. I'll put the description down below if you want to be able to get it for ease of use. Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to score these units so that we find out which one's the best. I'm going to be going not only to my home, but to other people's homes, testing these out with both men and women, and having each one of them give me their rating. Now they will rank each one first, second, or third according to how they felt that it performed, the ease of use, the amount of debris that was raised up, and be able to then score it. Now first place will receive 3 points, second will receive 2, and third place will receive 1. Okay, so we are at Chuck's lawn, which Chuck, as you know, his lawn is the 2021 project lawn. This yard has been dethatched before, but I want to dethatch it again because it's a brand new yard. We're going to thin it out a little bit. And Chuck, have you ever used any of these machines?
Nope, I never have.
Never have? Not once?
Not once.
Just know, I just told you what they do.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so Chuck's going to try each one of these. He's going to give us his thoughts and his opinions on each one, so you need to remember how you like it. Okay. Okay. And we've also, as you can see, we've marked off equal stretches, and he's just going to do an equal stretch up and down. Each one, it's about 7.5, 8 foot across. We are a little bit dry because the water hasn't been on for the last couple times on it. I would recommend that you do it on a yard that's a little bit more has a little bit more water to it, but we'll be okay for today because we're going to throw some water down and a little bit of fert. All right, so Chuck's done with the Worx, but there's one thing you might have noticed is that sometimes the cord will get in your way, and there's a little bit of cord management we're going to talk about. Whenever you're doing this, always work away like we are doing from the power source, wherever you've got it plugged in, work away. So that way you're not going over the cord by chance. And then there's this little trick, and this is how it works. As you're going down, you should always have, if you're going this direction, I will have this cord out like this. When I go to make my turn, I then push it out, and you can see that I will then have moved the cord out of my way. And when I come back, I step back over on the other side, and when I go to do my next turn, I move it like this. That way I keep the cord as much as I can out of my way. So now he's going to set this at the, just so we verify, this is at the -10, which is the lowest setting, because if we were to go up, that would be the higher. We're going to go down to the lowest. Now on the SunJoe, it does state don't use the dethatching tines at the lowest, but this isn't sponsored, therefore I get to do it the way I want to do it. And I'm going to set this at the lowest so that all these machines that are being used are set at their absolute lowest setting, because the Worx can go all the way down to its lowest setting, which is at -9mm with the tines. This one can do the same, but the SunJoe has a warning on it. Read the label. If you don't want to do it that way, then don't do it that way. Always follow the instructions, but if you want to be a rebel, that's up to you. Lawnmaster. Push the button. All right, Chuck, we're done. Time for the rankings. Tell us which one you liked as far as ease of use. Which one was the easiest one to use?
This one, this green one, or
the SunJoe?
Yep, that's the one that it was the easiest. It pulled me along, did a great job, I thought, and it was by far the easiest one to use.
Okay, what was the next one that was easiest to use?
Probably this one here. This one still had to work at it a little bit farther, but but it seemed to mulch pretty good.
Okay.
And, but I had to push it harder.
Okay, and the Lawnmaster?
The Lawnmaster, this one was by far the hardest one to use. It was I really had to push and work it to make it work, and it was a beast.
Okay. Now, as far as which one performed the best, which one pulled out the most debris?
This one seemed to pull out the most debris.
Okay.
And but I felt like that this one overall was my favorite one.
Okay, so if you were to rank it, which one's first then?
This one first.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
And then third.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. You heard it here, folks. SunJoe, #1. Hey, thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for any notifications on any future videos being posted. Also, like, share with your friends, and please comment down below. It really helps. And we'll see you in the next one.